What's up, guys? Coach Hunter here, and we are going to talk about periodization. This is a very important part of what we do at house training, and I wanted to give you guys a case study on two of our athletes and kind of give you guys an understanding of what they've got going on in their testing and then what we would change about their kind of training to help give them the best opportunity possible. And it's not going to be so specific that you guys can't learn from this, so take a second, watch it, and understand that my whiteboard situation here is a little bit ghetto because I'm not in my gym where I've got the whole setup. We're at the cabin, so, pythons are looking good, so let's just focus on the nice whiteboard I attempt to show you. So, to start off, we're going to talk about Alonzo. And what we did, guys, is we went through a testing protocol where we did a 30-minute time trial run. We did a 5K row, 3-rep bench press, 3-rep deadlift, 100 wall balls, 100 meters of lunging, and bar over burpee max reps for 5 minutes. Alonzo right here is a strength athlete. It's pretty poor writing, but I want you guys to understand this guy is a freaking beast. On his strength scores, he got 3-rep bench, 320, 3-rep deadlift, 505. That's massive. That is beating both of me on those scores. He is a freaking beast. Wall balls, he hit 327. That's pretty gosh darn good. That's pretty quick. Not the quickest we've seen, but it's quick enough to be very competitive. 307 on lunges. That's another one that's not the quickest one we've seen, but is very still competitive. So his strength, endurance, and capacity here actually shows to be pretty good. He's a CrossFitter. And then bar over burpee for 5 minutes, he hit 72 reps. So he's definitely getting over 10 reps per minute. And, it's still pretty high level capacity. But what I really want you guys to see up here is that he is running 3.5 miles in 30 minutes. So that's just under 10-minute miles. Like it's not significantly fast enough to be truly competitive in HYROX. It's fast enough to get away from, a pack of snails trying to eat you alive. No insult to you, Alonzo. But being that our sport in HYROX is very competitive and a running pace, it's very important for him to address this. So I want to make that big statement right there. That is his deficiency that's very clear here. Otherwise, absolute beast. Daniel has been working with us for a while now, and he's clearly an aerobic beast. Same testing, he hit 4.95 miles. So that's just under a 6-minute mile. 5K row, he didn't complete this. 3-rep bench press, he hit 125. That is basically almost 1/3 of what we had over here with Alonzo. He hit 231. He was just under half of what Alonzo was. His wall balls were 436, so he was just about a minute and 10 seconds slower. So his strength, endurance, his fitness up here is super good. He's got clearly like a good aerobic system. He's efficient with running. But then all of a sudden that strength, endurance capacity comes in down here with things like wall balls with some weight on it and lunges, which another thing he got 425 on. He is clearly like a little bit slower there, and I'm still saying it has to do with the weight. And then he got 60 burpees over the bar, so about 12 less than we had over here. All of those movements are testing your capacity, but what's happening is your strength is limiting your capacity. So very efficient at running, which is not necessarily a strength-driven thing. It's more of efficiency and aerobic capabilities. And then when we could see strength, it was obviously one of these kind of things where this is a clear contrast of David versus Goliath. Like, a nimble, fast guy versus an absolutely lumbering giant full of strength. The reason why I picked these two people right here is because they were the biggest contrast of any athletes that we had, and I wanted to give you guys that gigantic gap so you could understand why we would program for them differently. Now, you can't entirely program for them differently because they're working on the same sport, but what we are going to do is we're going to have different focuses on different times of the year to make sure that they are fully prepared at their best for when it matters the most. So what we're going to talk about now, guys, is basically what it would take from this point now all the way until the World Championships in HYROX in May next year, which I'm pretty sure the schedule is going to be, what kind of work we would need to do for each of these athletes. Now, this next section right here is based on percentages, and I'm going to explain how it works, and you guys just need to understand that it's a vague, it's kind of like a blanket statement for how this works. It's not super detailed, and, that's where the programming comes in from the other aspect of our company. But what the aspect that you should understand is just focus driven. Is it more focus driven in this direction, meaning aerobic efforts, or is it more focus driven in strength? So we'll start with Alonzo. And here is our calendar right here. Pretty poor writing, but amazing effort and intelligence that's going to be displayed here. So we're talking about September all the way down through May at the bottom. And what you guys can see up here is it's a 70-30 split, and we're focusing on majority weaknesses for 70% of the week, and 30% of the time we're focusing on strength. So just off of a 10-hour work week, like let's say you guys are training 10 hours, I'm going to make it rounded all the way up to that. I don't know if you guys have the time, but I'm going to put that number up there so it's easy for us. The likelihood that you're going to be spending 70% of the time, if you're Alonzo, outside working on your aerobic conditioning, primarily running, because that was his weakest aspect. He had a really, really great row time, but that's that strength capacity, once again, strength endurance. 70% of the week, up to 7 hours of aerobic training for these first 3 months, okay? This is a 9-month calendar we're working on right now to May. What that really looks like, guys, is you can imagine 6 days a week he will be running or doing biking. Some of them are going to have to be longer efforts, and they're going to help him really become efficient at moving through time and space. And once you become efficient at that, it becomes less costly. Once it becomes less costly, you can increase the pace and get yourself further. Because I'm imagining this guy probably has a pretty sick 400 time. He's very powerful. Now we just need to take that top end speed and learn how to move through time and space more efficiently and take it on into the mile, the 5K, the 10K, the half marathon, so on and so forth. And then next what we would do is the next 3 months, going from December, January, and February, we are going to do a 60-40 split. So you're still spending the primary period of your time outside getting conditioned, but now what you're starting to do is you're starting to spend a little bit more time in the gym and focusing on your strengths. So before, where you were spending about 3 hours in the gym, which is probably about 2 90-minute sessions a week, where you're probably doing some strength pieces, about 3 to 5 movements of strength pieces, and you're going to get into kind of like that strength conditioning, which is like the wall balls, rowing, and all that kind of stuff, and sleds. And now that 60-40 split, you're starting to kind of come a little bit closer. You're starting to enhance your strengths again. So when it comes time to race, you really are able to swing the hammer with your true strength. And then 40% of the time, obviously, is that gym time. Still major emphasis on the running. And then lastly, guys, when we're looking at March, April, and May, this is kind of coming towards peak season. It's not the highest period of our volume, but you're still going to start to come down to a 50-50 split. Whereas for me, what that looks like is you're going to be inside of the gym, and I'm going to be in the gym more often, rather than when in the beginning of the year when I was working on the aerobic stuff, September through November, because I was a strength athlete also, I was doing 3-hour bike rides, I was doing 90-minute trail runs, sometimes 2-hour trail runs. Now I was in the gym 4 days a week, and I was doing a lot of strength treadmill work, sled work, wall balls, rowing. Like, it was a lot of strength and conditioning, really just working on the craft of our sport in a very gym-based capacity, because it's so driven towards that. And I wanted to work on my strengths. Like, I knew that if I could get to the sleds ahead of everybody else, because I had put that work in on running earlier that year, if I could get to the sleds before everybody else and then work the shit out of those sleds, that I would be a dominant athlete in that championship. That's exactly what we want to do for Alonzo. Daniel, same calendar we're talking about here, he is going to be spending the primary period of his time inside of the gym. Now, I'm not telling him he needs to be in a 10-hour work week spending 7 hours in the gym, because they're eventually in the gym, there's diminishing returns. Your body's just more shocked by heavy lifting. But what you're going to probably do for him is decrease the workload of the entire week and basically focus most of the work in the gym so your body can recover between sessions, not really have a high aerobic stimulus, meaning, let's just say we bring his workload down to, 8 hours a week, and what we're allowing him to do is 4 90-minute sessions in the gym, push-pull the first day, legs the next day, rest day, push-pull the following, and then legs, and then 2 days rest again. Basically what that would do is allow you to only have 2 hours of aerobic work. It would really be a focus on strength for him. And then same exact thing, later on it would go 60-40, and eventually it would go more 50-50, and that's when he'd get to soar again with his running capabilities and basically have so much more strength. Now, somebody like Daniel could take the strength that he has right now and show up to a HYROX and potentially complete the thing. But to be competitive in the thing, Alonso actually has a better opportunity because of his high level of capacity strength. He will be able to tackle some of these obstacles, which if you do not have the strength, you cannot accomplish them. He would end up winning, I'm assuming, based on these tests. The running for him is not so deficient that it would hold him back from finishing the race, but his strength is strong enough to make him really a threat. Whereas Daniel at this point, I would say, is the bigger risk of the two for being able to complete and succeed in these two races. So really understand and look at this not from an ego standpoint. I'm not attacking either of these athletes. I'm coming at it from an analytical standpoint as a coach. You need to look at yourself and your scores and what you produced here and grow to understand where you need to develop, and look at this and really look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I got to wake up. I need to start putting more work into the places where I'm the weakest. And if you can hit this calendar right here like this, and you truly dedicate yourself to it based on these percentages, everyone's going to be a little bit different, you will be able to see success. I did it myself last year, made a really, really great plan, had some record-breaking results. And I can honestly say, guys, if you take this kind of formula, take the kind of mature approach of being able to assess your weaknesses and then work on them, you will have incredible results. So periodization is one of those kind of things where it's basically breaking things down into specific cycles and improving upon them based on the stimulus you're looking at, and then adding it from weeks to months, months to years, and years into, you can have a whole athletic career, and you have to be the person that takes charge of it. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. Thanks for tuning in. Kick some ass out there.